And so that moves us on to our feature discussion, which we are discussing non-Christmas games that remind us of Christmas. So these are games that have nothing to do with Christmas in them, no connection at all, but for some reason, around this time of year, we start to think, ooh, I want to play that game. And if you're in the chat and you've got some ideas, throw them out to us, because we'd love to hear what your thoughts are as well. But we'll kick it off with, let's get Scotty going. Scotty.
I was going to request to go last.
Okay, let's get Nick Flair going. Nick, buddy.
Pew, pew. So I already talked about Knights and the memory. So all of my games are memory based. So that clip, which apparently Twitch purged my ability to find the clips that I made. So, Overlord Twitch, we're on the platform and the stream just cuts.
Fine with me.
I can't find that clip, but I was working at the time when I was watching Scotty's stream, and I had it. I was working at the radio station, so I had it on a monitor, and it was playing. It was playing.
Did that.
And I was just sitting there. The snow is outside. I can still picture it. It's a very white Christmas time, and so that's a pretty vivid winter Christmas time memory. The others are equally memory based. So I've talked so much about how much I love Knights of the Old Republic 2. It has nothing to do with that, but it is one that makes me think of Christmas because I got it for a Christmas present.
Ooh.
Right before I went on a trip, a road trip to Florida. And so, we get everything set up for Christmas. My parents have all these presents out. My dad had been talking for the longest time, and I realized looking back that he was like messing with me. And he's like, "I want to get you a Madden game, like, because I want to play football with you. I want to be able to connect." And I'm like, "Please don't do that, please." and so he's like, "Hey, I got you a video game for Christmas." And I was like, "Dad, why?" And I open it up and it's Star Wars, and he laughs because I was just not expecting it at all. And man, that's a good memory. I hadn't thought about this in a while.
That's a really cool.
And so
classic dad.
He also got a portable DVD player. So there was a front for my younger brothers who were like children, and then there's a back connecting thing. And I looked under it, and it turns out I can hook up a those old digital outputs to it. So I was like, "Dad, can I set up my Xbox back here?" And he's like, "I don't know, that's a lot of work. Like, are you sure you want to do that?" And I was like, yeah. So I set up the Xbox. I plugged it into the AC power converter in the back. I plugged it into this tiny screen that's like, the size of the phone. In a car, in a minivan, using
I might have missed that part.
Using a screen like about the size of this journal here. And I'm playing. I'm like sitting like right here, playing Knights of the Old Republic.
There's a lot on the screen for that game.
Screen's tiny. I can't really hear it because I didn't have headphones, so I'm just like trying to read and just so excited. And it was a 16-hour road trip. So I was in there like just playing this game, and I remember too that I developed this habit of saving constantly because whenever my dad would turn the car off, say to get gas, it would reset. It would cycle the power. So like I couldn't be in the middle of something. So when my dad's like, "Okay, we're going to the gas," I'm like, no, I can't have to be somewhere I can save.
A few more miles. Circle
the lot.
Yeah. So that's that. And then Yakuza, specifically Yakuza 4. When I was at college, I would not really have anywhere to. I wouldn't go home, visit family, and I didn't do anything. So there would be like a good 2, 3, 4 weeks where I was doing really nothing, going to work and whatever. So I remember being recommended to try Yakuza, and I found a copy of Yakuza 4 at my local GameStop. So I picked it up, and it was, again, wintry outside. I'm just sitting on my bed. My hamster at the time was in my lap, and I'm playing Yakuza, and I'm loving it. And like, the girl that I was seeing at the time like texted me, and she's like, what are you doing? And I set up, and I think it's still my pinned tweet on my Twitter. I set it up so that my hamster is like straddling the controller with its like little paws holding each of the joysticks, and I'm like just hanging out with Mio playing Yakuza, and just in the background it's Yakuza 4. So yeah, that's another one that reminds me of Christmas, even though it's just memory based. Yeah, that's the tweet.
It's Scotty's trying to hold up to the camera.
That's show up at all.
All I see is a bright white blob there. That's
the hamster.
I mean, you can link that tweet, I think, directly to the Discord if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that memory of your dad. That's so funny.
I hadn't thought about it for a while. I'm gonna have to tell him about it when I see him again.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it when parents or brothers or someone just like does that to you, like sort of goes, "Oh, I'm gonna get you this." It's like, "Oh, please don't do that."
I'll share it in. I shared it in the Twitch there. You guys can look at Nick's pinned tweet of the hamster driving the game.
Man,
cool.
Yeah,
those are fun. That's I don't think we ever had, for road trips we didn't have that was not around when I was a kid, any type of screen that you could hook up. So we literally had this TV still is sitting in my younger brother's. I only have one brother, my little brother, his bedroom at my mom's house. He's not there right now, but in his old bedroom is it's probably seriously like an 8-inch screen TV VCR combo. And that was literally sat in between the pilot seats of whatever vehicle. And we would watch movies on that.
Wow.
It probably has hookups in some way, shape, or form, but the screen and everything didn't really exist back then when we were doing road trips. So yeah.
Yeah. In the UK, I think you could get. I remember you could get an adapter. You could plug set up a whole PlayStation system in your car, and have the screens mounted in the back of your car. But that was thousands and thousands of pounds. I think you could get these little TV set things that you could hook onto the back of seats. But again, they were so much money. And in the UK, the country's so bloody small that a road trip is an hour or two. So it's not really, well, that's, I mean, for me to travel up to see my brother, it's 4 hours, but it's not epic like America or Australia or Canada or someplace like that where you have these huge road trips, and our cars are a lot smaller than yours. So but it's great when I hear these stories of you guys doing epic road trips with these awesome things in your cars.
That would have been for us. It would have been 8 to 10 hours probably to visit relatives because they live south of us. But if you drive 4 hours here, you could still be in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, for sure. Still in Pennsylvania.
Was it last week or the week before where you sort of mentioned how something in another state's 2 hours for you, but something in the same state's a 6-hour drive, something.
Yeah, you mentioned West Virginia. We're 45 minutes from the border of West Virginia, but the other town you mentioned in Pennsylvania was 5 hours away. So
I love that. That's me.
Oh, and speaking of that, Red Jaguar ass, I mean, you could drive to Edinburgh, right?
Basically, yeah.
That's
I guess actually that's about 8 hours away from me, roughly. But yeah, if there's no traffic at all, I could probably do that in about 6 hours. But yeah,
all right.
That's crazy. And I'm pretty much quite close to the south of the UK, so it is almost the whole country I would be driving up.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I guess moving on a bit, my games that I've chosen are, I've got a couple of games I'm going to shout out. Oh, actually, sorry, Nick, did you have any other games?
No, that's it.
Okay, cool, good.
That's my memory.
I didn't want to step on your toes there. Perfect. Yeah. So my games are the Dreamcast 24-hour marathon special, which is Pen TriIcelon, which I've got my lovely sticker on it still from when I bought it in the shop. Nick, you love it.
Yeah, I do.
This if for some reason you don't have this game or you never listen to our show where we talk about it, because Scotty and I both seem to love this game. It's a fun. It's like it's a 3D cartoon inspired racer type game where you're playing as these penguin creatures who are actually aliens, who are actually on an ice planet, an ice world, and you involve yourself in a
more than I do.
Triathlon of sorts. They call it a Tri-Icelon because it's all on ice. We're here, great pun there. But you do events where you run, you swim, and you slide on your belly. So that's the triathlon element. And I just think it's such a fun game. It's just really enjoyable. It's a great 4-player game. Single player and 4-player, brilliant. 2 players not, as from memory, 2 players not as good, but it's still a great game.
I think you can only race one at a time, or whoever the human is. You can only have that many racers in a one.
So 2 players, also 3 players, still quite fun. 4 players, brilliant, and that's what we do in the Dreamcast 24-hour Dreamless Marathon. We play it 4 players, and it's just a blast. And
it's a highlight of it for sure.
It's
no
it's
Sonic
so
Shuffle,
weird.
but
what is?
Get out of it! Get out.
What is? Yep.
It's just wacky. It's zany. The only downside I would say to it is it's only got 4 tracks. Really, you can adjust the length of the tracks, but there's only 4 of them. But the worlds are so beautiful. That's the thing. The visuals on this, I think, are fantastic. I think they're very underrated. So bright and colourful, and that's what makes me remind me of Christmas. I've got no title to Christmas really, other than that. It's the colours and the aesthetics that make me feel just happy. I'm like, just feels like a little Christmas. It's like its own little sparkling Christmas tree lights just going off in a video game. Basically, that's what it makes me feel like. And I guess because it's all in ice, it's kind of winter, so that kind of does tie it in a little bit. But yeah, it's a great game. So yeah, we probably spoke about this many times, but Scotty, Nick, what do you guys think of Pen?
Yeah, I like Pen a lot. My introduction to it was for the Dreamcast Marathon, so I'd never seen it before. And I mean, I had fun with it, and then I ended up giving up trying to win, just like sabotage the other racers. So, just like any racing game, really.
Yep.
So good.
I still stand by. I really think that it was a launch game for the US release. I really think that this game started as an adventure, like collectathon game, and they're like, shit, there's no time. We need to put this out. All right, let's make it a racing game, because there is because you do walk around and like jump in it for a very small portion. It seems very strange, but there's no racing game out there like it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's so unique out there, and you mentioned that before about your theory there, Scotty, and we've never had that proven, but I think that could be a legitimate reason as to why it's like it is, and I love to think that's what happened. Just the almost the romance of being like, oh, we need to get this game out. Let's just change the entire thing. And one other thing I just want to touch on is the music. I think the music makes me feel very Christmassy as well. There's something about it, and if you're playing in single player, especially.
Something like that. Oh wait, that was Ferris Bueller. Sorry.
Oh dear. If you're playing, I don't know if you guys have played it much in single player, but when you're playing in single player, as you progress through the tracks, if you get to certain areas, the music changes dynamically depending on what section you're going into, and there's like bits where it gets really intense. And it's because you've got to a special intense moment in the game, and the way they involve that into the game works really well, because if you stand on the same spot, the music doesn't progress until you get to the particular moments in the level, but the way it merges is so seamless. It works brilliantly. I love the way they do it. But yeah, and the other game, moving on swiftly, is I've actually got the second one, but the Clockwork Night games, Clockwork Night 1 and Clockwork Night 2.
Oh, I've never played the second one.
So I feel like I prefer the first one for some reason, but the second one's still really good fun. But if you don't know about it, it's the first game was, I believe it was a Saturn launch title from memory, the first one.
Yep.
It is I guess it's a 2.5D platformer. So you move along a flat plane, like a 2D plane, or left to right, for example. You can go up and down as well. But there are 3D objects in it. So, I mean, for a Saturn launch title, it's kind of cool because you have things in the background that are in 3D and they suddenly just fall forward into you and stuff. And the graphics are pretty decent as well. But the whole idea, it's almost like a Toy Story world. You are these toy characters who are alive, effectively, and I can't remember the actual story of the second one, but in the first one, basically, this princess character.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, this princess has basically been kidnapped, and it's up to you as you're this knight who is a clockwork knight, literally like an old school clockwork toy, one of those ones you have to wind up with a little key, and he goes basically to try and save the princess, and he uses his key thing as like a sword. So he's like this little knight in armor, and he like uses a sword, and you can actually wind up some of the enemies to kill them. Like you sort of go,
that's right.
It's just a fun. True. I think it's a very fun game, but I think the whole toy aspect really reminds me of Christmas and just the way it is. So that's a game that quite often I would think, even if I play it for just a little bit, like the first level, I'm like, get a bit of Clockwork Night going, this time of year. But, so Scotty, I assume you've had experience.
All right, I found the story for it. This is according to Wikipedia. So, Clockwork Night 2 immediately picks up on the cliffhanger left by Clockwork Night. Chelsea, the princess, is safe and sound, but will not wake up as the toys not under the spell ponder just what to do. Chelsea is suddenly kidnapped again. Thus, Peppercorn is the knight again sets out to rescue her. So it's literally the exact same story.
Brilliant. Okay. That's a good way to round off the cliffhanger. Yeah, I haven't I've got Clockwork Night 2 here, but I've not really played it that much. I've only played it little bits and pieces. But
I played the first one and I streamed it forever ago when I was doing my Panzer Dragoon runs, I think, or something. But the last boss of that game is batshit insane.
Yeah,
the first one.
That's one thing I remember from it.
I'm not even going to try to describe it. Just play the game, people.
Yeah.
So,
that's so cool.
Second one's pretty pricey. It goes for like over $100 complete. That's probably why I haven't stumbled across it in my casual travels.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. Damn it! You can't play Saturn. Can you play? Have you got the ability to play European Saturn games? Because
I got the extra replay.
Oh, I picked this. I will try and get this for you, sir. I got this for £25 about a year ago. So.
Well, if you stumble across it again, just snag me one, Jesus.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that they're expensive in America. Wow, it's yeah. I'll keep an eye.
I don't know. Yeah, I've got a way to play import Saturn stuff, so keep an eye out for stuff. I'll keep an eye out for stuff for you if there's ever. The American market is not the way to go for Saturn, though.
Yeah, it seems that way. Nick, have you played any of the Clockwork Night games at all?
I can't say that I have, actually. That's not familiar to me at all. So I'm interested. I want to see.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I wouldn't say it's like the greatest time ever, but there's something about it. It's a bit different, a bit unique, and a lot of fun. And
the aesthetics always reminded me of almost kind of the Disney games from the 16-bit era. Just kind of spongy and fluffy sort of kind of deal,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That makes sense.
I think the sprites they use do really remind me of that. So they've got the 3D, they've got some 3D bits in it, but the actual main characters are all like kind of sprite work, but the animation's really solid and just it's a decent game. But and just a shout out to the chat if you also have any non-Christmas games that you remind you of Christmas, drop in the chat and we'll talk about them in a second. But before that, let's move on to Scotty. What are your non-Christmas games that remind you of Christmas?
Yeah, so my first one's Jet Set Radio, or as it was released in the States, Jet Grind Radio. Mm-hmm. It was what I got one year for Christmas, that and Shenmue. Caesar, to answer your question real quick, he says, Scotty, do you have 13K Mexican pesos or around $700? I do not. Thank you, old car repairs. Anyway, 1 year for Christmas, I got Shenmue and Jet Set Radio. So today Scotty would say to young Scotty, man, you got some freaking good stuff. But as a dumb 16-year-old, I didn't care about Shenmue at all, so I tossed that aside, and I played the cool Jet Set Radio with Dragula and stuff. Yeah. I don't think I ever beat the game as a kid, though, because I don't remember seeing the end of the end of the game is just nuts and this weird psychedelic rhino nonsense that I definitely did not get to as a child, but I do remember having a lot of fun, because that game is difficult in spots, challenging to say the least, and controls don't do it any favors. But I remember playing the crap out of that. I probably still have on my VMU save like really bad graffiti art that I made. But that was always a good time. But the other one that's a big one that was what my gut told me for this feature was Sonic 3D Blast. I do not have the Genesis version because that is the one that I do want to talk about. So the year before I got Sonic 3D Blast, I got a Sega Nomad, and that was kind of cool. But to even back up a little bit more, when I was a young buck growing up getting into Sega and video games, I basically had two friends. And one of them, Ben, him and I would hang out every now and again, but not that much. The other one, Tucker, shout out to Tucker because he got me into Sega overall. I really did not have any friends until like my sophomore year of high school. So, but in third grade, Tucker, who we would draw comics and we would like play Sega stuff and we would do whatever, play with Kinects. We were Kinects kids instead of Lego kids. To the point that like my mom thought I was going to be an engineer when I grew up and got a job.
Oh, wow.
Well, showed her. Instead, I joined a band.
Take that, Mom.
Yeah. Take that, you and your CD player. But so anyway, like pretty much my life, like first, second, and third grade was hanging out with Tucker and playing games and stuff and like swapping cartridges. Graham, he got me into Zero Tolerance as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So yeah. So yes, that's the correct response. Anyway, third grade, Tucker and his family moved away to Florida. Like my one friend that I was kind of hanging out with all the time moved away. So that was a big blow to me. So a couple Christmases later, I guess it would have been like 94. 95. Let me see. When did Sonic 3D Blast come out? Because it was the year before. I think this came out in 95, so he probably moved away in 94. So anyway, that Christmas, all I got was Sonic 3D Blast on the Genesis, which that was probably a $50 game. So, but for a kid not understanding the concept of money, like all I saw was like, all I got is one Genesis game for Christmas. This is bullshit. And then I opened up another gift, and it was a piece of paper, and I didn't really understand. And I'm like looking at this thing, and it has my name on it. And then my mom explained, that's a plane ticket to Florida to visit Tucker. So I was like, what? And there's a picture of me like doing a dumb little dance as a kid when I figured out what it was. Because like how old was I I would have been 10 years old. I had never seen a plane ticket before. Like I didn't know what that looked like. So to me it was just like whatever. Yeah, paper with my name on it. I don't get this. So that was why I literally got Sonic 3D Blast and then a plane ticket. Wow. So I flew by myself to Florida, brought my Sega Nomad and my Sonic 3D Blast with me. Actually surprised Tucker. His parents picked me up at the airport. He didn't even know it was happening. So walked into his house and he was just like, Scott! And so that was pretty cool. But he was always a little bit ahead of me with gaming. So he already had a Sega Saturn and he had Sonic 3D Blast. He probably got it that year because that was the year it was out. But so I remember playing this game with him, like side by side, because he had it on the Saturn on his TV, and I was sitting there on the Nomad playing my Genesis version of Sonic 3D Blast. Can't talk, sorry. Needless to say, because I had zero load times, I was like a little bit further ahead than him. And but yeah, so Sonic 3D Blast kind of always reminds me of that, reuniting with my best friend at the time. Playing that game next to him, and that was pretty much our Christmas break. So
that's awesome.
That's why I wanted to go last as well.
Fair enough. So, that's a Christmas miracle right there. That's
yeah. So that was Christmas. That was pretty cool. That. Sonic 3D Blast is the Saturn version. I will defend is definitely the superior between the two with the soundtrack and the bonus levels, but it's an okay game. It's maybe should be a part of any Saturn owner's collection, but that's my Christmas memory.
I've always been a fan of Sonic 3D. Both the Mega Drive or Genesis and the Saturn versions. Great game. I love it. It's just a very different Sonic game. Although
it's not 3D, it's isometric.
Yeah, 3D. Yeah. Although I'm probably the only person in the world who actually enjoyed the Genesis Mega Drive bonus levels. I thought they were fine. I thought they were fun.
They're so easy.
They are very easy. That's maybe why I enjoyed it as a kid. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can actually get the Chaos Emeralds for this game. Because controversially, even though I think the half pipe thing in like Sonic 2 and the Saturn version of Sonic 3D is really cool, like especially at the time for Sonic 2, I don't enjoy it as much as everyone else does. There's something about it. I'm just like, yeah, this is good, but I'm impressed, but I didn't enjoy it as much. I don't know why. It's like,
it's all right.
Maybe it's the difficulty I found. Like later on, it just got too hard, and you basically can't see what you're doing. Like going so fast, you're like, it's almost just like dumb luck that you miss the spikes. It's like, yeah, but
well, Caesar has a point there in the chat. Sonic 2 half pipe is also brutally hard and require too much memorization. Sonic 1 and 3's I can't read that word. Levels do not require
special.
that.
I think it's meant to say special levels.
Yep. Good job. You figured it out. Anagram.
That's okay. Caesar. Awesome.
3D Blast, their bonus levels is the half pipe again, but you're playing as 3D Sonic. It's the only part that is arguably 3D. And it's funny because that's like the same model they use in Sonic Jam's Sonic World and then in Sonic R. But all those combined, you can kind of see why they didn't end up doing a 3D Sonic game on the Saturn. But it's good. That's mine though.
That's brilliant. I love that. That's so cool. And just
I was terrified as a 10-year-old on a plane by myself, but I made it.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I feel like that would not be allowed these days.
Probably not.
Putting a kid on a plane. Yeah, where are your parents? I don't know, at home.
The 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Home Alone 3, you're on a plane going somewhere else. And that's your parents are awesome. I think that's a great little memory. And
yeah, it was a big. I mean, I think it. Like I said, I didn't have any friends, so I think it was that was probably very obvious as a child, and I was sitting in front of my TV more and not doing anything else. So,
yeah, it's. I've got almost like a reverse story of my best friend leaving. If you want to quickly hear that, I don't know, or would that be?
That's up to you if you feel like telling it. We got a couple replies from the listeners, but if you want to tell your story, go for it.
As this links in with yours, I'll quickly say my thing, but.
Yeah,
it's not a Christmas-related story, but weirdly, I was thinking about this the other day. And now you've just said it. It kind of almost shows the polar opposite of how my parents were. Like they didn't seem to care about me having friends. Essentially, I had a few friends down my street, and one of them was like a best friend from school. We went to the same. You'd call it elementary school. We called it primary school. We went to the same primary school, and literally, I'd like go around to his house quite a lot. We'd spend all the weekends together, we'd play on the street together, get on the bikes and cycle around and stuff, just kid stuff, go to each other's houses, play, like, occasionally play video games or whatever. And then one day his dad lost his job. He was made redundant, unfortunately, and they had to move house. So he got another job somewhere else, but miles away. So they had to move house. And I knew I was quite young. I was like maybe 7 or so. I was aware that he was leaving, but I didn't really fully understand it. And we played a few times before they left, because it was about a month or so before they got up and packed up and left. And then it was like came to the weekend that he was leaving, and I think I was at someone's house a different day, and the day he was leaving, basically, I was tidying my room, or my parents had told me to tidy my room or do something stupid like that. He came to the house to sort of say, "We're leaving in a few hours, can I see Graham?" And my parents were just like, "Oh, he's busy at the moment. He'll come and find you in a bit." I didn't even know that he'd come to the door, basically. And then it's the next day I was like, "Oh, I had to go and see Richard." And Mum was like, "Oh, he came round earlier. Yeah, he's they've left now. They've gone." Sort of thing. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, did they leave the phone number or anything? Mum's like, yeah. I've got the phone number, because my mum knew his mum and stuff, but I'd never phoned him. I never spoke to him ever again. I've never seen him since. So Richard, if you're out there,
call him now during the show.
But it's like, this is before mobile phones as well. So it's like almost like your parents had the phone and the phone book, and my mum just never seemed to keep in touch with her and never seemed to pass on. Like, it's just like, it's ridiculous. My mum never said, "Oh, Richard's leaving, so you can pop down and say goodbye." Never even got that bloody chance. It's like, "Thanks, Mum, my best friend, like ever." And it's just like, but as a young child, you just kind of, I just didn't really know the finality of this situation. So yeah, I think your story touches me quite there, because it's like that's a beautiful thing.
That
that's
explains
so awesome.
Why you're such a loner now.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. So let's bring it back to the topic slightly with Caesar, buddy. Thank you for writing in. So yeah, he.
Well, actually,
he says,
Red Jaguar had one. If we want to back up further,
we can go back up further. Okay. Let's see the chat. Where is it? Have you got it there? Because I didn't see it pop up. Okay, cool.
I got it here. Red Jaguar said, "Parasite Eve and Death Smiles 2." If no one knows Death Smiles, I sure do have a faceplate that came with that game for 360 when faceplates were a thing. Death Smiles is a bullet hell game, or a shmup, or a shooter, however you want to call them. But, thousands of things flying at you, and you have the smallest hit detection spec in your character. I didn't even know there was a second one. And he doesn't really expand on it at all. But that one and Parasite Eve are his that remind him of Christmas.
I'm actually just Googling it. Okay, I recognise the box art for Death Smiles 1. Again, I didn't know there was Death Smiles 2, actually. I'm not a huge shoot 'em up fan, so those are not in my sphere. But looking at the visuals, maybe it's because of the colours and stuff. I don't know if there's actually a Christmas-related story to it, but just the visuals are very bright.
Boom!
Oh, whoa!
I forgot it was behind me on my shelf. This is the first games box.
Wow.
And it doesn't have... The faceplate is on my 360, so it's not going to have...
So yeah, Scotty, for the audio listeners, Scotty is holding up a long cardboard, I assume, box, which is, like about 3 DVDs length, I'd say, width-wise. But yeah, it's got the artwork on it. Death Smiles.
Yeah, I think it's soundtrack and then the faceplate. Yeah, looks like it.
That's nice. Yeah, I didn't realize
it's a fun, weird game.
Cool. Yeah, Parasite. I'd love to. Red Jaguar. I'd love to know why those are Christmas games, because in my head, Parasite Eve, I can't think why that would be a Christmas game. Like Christmas reminds you of Christmas, but. Well, Nick,
did it come out around Christmas?
It might have done. Parasite Eve.
Christmas.
Oh, he says the Parasite Eve wasn't so much nostalgic for me. The Christmas stuff just seemed to be very out of place in the horror RPG genre. Horror.
I want to say that Parasite Eve takes place in winter in New York. So I don't know if it's Christmas explicitly, and there might be even like decorations somewhere around. But I agree. I think that it's an intentional juxtaposition of like the cheery, Christmassy environment with like all these people exploding into blood monsters.
That's right.
That's perfect. Perfect example. Yeah, brilliant.
Do you want to read Caesar's, Graham?
Yeah, I can read Caesar's. So yeah, Caesar wrote, also for me, mostly because it was a game that I got for Christmas as a kid as well, is Donkey Kong Country 2. I don't have many Christmas games, to be honest, though. And that's perfect. These are not games that necessarily actually at Christmas. These are more games that are not Christmas related, but for some reason remind us it's Christmas. So yeah, if you got it at Christmas or for some reason, I don't know, like Pen for me is just very colourful, and Clockwork Night. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 2, good shout. It's I feel like the visuals in Donkey Kong Country 2 remind me of Clockwork Night. That kind of the way the pixels are, if that makes sense. Yes,
pre-rendered. I couldn't remember the name.
Yes,
that's the word.
That's the word. Yeah, it's all pre-rendered visuals. Clockwork Night mixed with the 3D, I guess. Caesar just wrote, I played Donkey Kong Country 2 way too much as a kid. Yeah, I do remember that being the game on the SNES over here that kind of everyone started to switch to the SNES on, like the Donkey Kong Country games, because before that I feel like most of my friends were Mega Drive friends, and then suddenly Donkey Kong Country came out and everyone's like, oh my god, this game looks amazing, and everyone started playing it and abandoned me with my Mega Drive lonely. Oh dear. I lost my friends, god damn it, over SNES. I lost my other friend because he moved away.
You had a hard childhood.
Yeah, these are true first world problems, by the way. Just to bring it out there.
We just talked about how small your country is and where you live and everything. Do you know how far, like driving distance wise, Richard is or was at the time or anything? Do you know?
To be honest, I have no idea. I think he moved near Wales. That's all I can remember vaguely, which is basically effectively. It's part of the UK, but it's technically another country. That is a good 4 hours from where I live, so it's
not like a bike ride away.
Yeah, right. Sadly, I couldn't just hop on my bike or get my rollerblades on and just go, hey.
Get your rollerblades
on. I have a friend who lived about 4 or 5 miles away, and I used to skate to his house with my video games in a backpack and going on a mate.
Yes.
And technically, he lived in the countryside. I lived in a town. He lived just outside the town in the countryside, and I skated on the main road to get to his house. And awesome. I did that a few times because my mum was like, "I can't be bothered to drive you," sort of thing.
Some real jet set radio vibes there.
Oh yeah. I used to be a good skater, so I could actually go quite fast. But yeah.
I went with some friends on a hiking trail, and I brought rollerblades, and they were like really serious hills and all this stuff. It was the worst. It was the worst idea. I never fell, thankfully, and like crashed and burned. But like going uphill was a nightmare. I basically had to like hold on to somebody who also rode their bike.
Oh man! So was the surface enough that you could actually skate on it at all? Like, I feel like what you just said, it sounded like it was muddy.
So they were paved hiking trails.
That's
so
kind of cool,
it was,
I guess.
Yeah, that's why I could hold on to the bike. The person who was riding a road bike.
Yeah, that's the you need to have a friend who's got a bike or something you can hold on to as a skater.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had rollerblades super briefly, but then I got into aggressive inline. It's called that, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be cool. It's cool. It's literally called aggressive inline. So like with grinding and shit, those are not made for travel. They are made for doing tricks. So anytime people would do stuff, I'd be on those and I'd just be like, guys, I can't go far. Help.
Yeah. Actually, while we're on the subject, not that long ago.
Jesus Christ, did you just buy some? Did you buy soap shoes or something? What's going on here?
My gosh.
So I bought some
three.
It's a new thing. It's since like a year ago or so. They discovered that having 3 bigger wheels, these are bigger than normal, make you go faster and turn better. So
that's so funny. There's new rollerblade tech.
Yeah, it's like I've been skating for years as a child.
And commercial now, them lifting these out of a vat and there being dry ice everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, quarantine does crazy things to all of us, people.
I'm looking up men's roller skates right now.
Fuck me.
So you can't. These are not designed for doing aggressive stuff on. So you can't grind on them because they've got no grinding bit in the middle. But they are designed for more casual stuff and also going more off road and stuff, so bumpier trails and things like that. So yeah, I picked them up and my plan was to use them and like get some more exercise in. But I got them up just before winter hit, and it's been really cold. And I went out one morning, and I came back after like half an hour. I was like freezing and dying. I'm like, this is not for me because I'm so unfit as well. So maybe in the summer I'll start skating a bit more. But yeah, there you go.
Graham, I don't mean to call you out right now, but the only 3-wheel options that I see are aggressively more expensive than the non-3-wheel options. Are you getting in on this? Like, is this?
Is this it? Is this the new thing?
It depends. Here's the thing: if you're really into your skating, these are not as expensive as some of the proper aggressive inline skates, because you get ones which are way expensive, but they are more expensive than the standard 4-wheel ones. That is true.
Oh my gosh!
But I mean, I was happy to pay for these ones. They weren't too expensive. The ones I picked up.
I don't mean to blow up your spot, but I was just like, yeah, okay, I could maybe get back into these. Where's those cool 3-wheel ones? And this one that I'm looking at is like $300, and I was like, what the heck?
So I think I paid about £130 for my one. So I'm not sure what that is in dollars.
150 about.
Caesar just says, pay more for less wheels. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Although the wheels are bigger, so maybe you're getting more wheel for your money. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the
more
monster truck
for your money
excuse.
I just want to imagine, like, I'm trying to mentally picture the rollerblade guy sitting there, and like his peers are like, you got to give up on the 3 wheels, man. We've been doing 4 wheels for years. It's the way to go. And he's like, no, I've got it. I know that 3 wheels is the answer. Just back and forth the tech. Oh man.
Yeah. Just one final thing to go back on topic. Red Jaguar says the NES console in general reminds me of Christmas because I received it during the holidays. I think a lot of people get that one for consoles they get for Christmas and stuff. It just reminds them of that time of year. That's a lovely thought.
If anyone really wants to get into the science of rollerblades, the anime Air Gear is decent. The manga gets fucking crazy science for rollerblades, people. I dropped out of it, but fuck.
Wow. Okay. I'll be interested to hear.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Are you saying shut up because you know it, or just that shut up because I know this?
Because just the concept. That's what I've always understood about anime. Is like they latch heavily onto a sport and like dissect it. Like that's why I like Shokugeki so much, the cooking anime. Up until my friend told me because I dropped off for a bit. He's like, yeah, towards the end it stops being about cooking theory, and then it's a lot of just random bullshit, like a guy who cooks with chainsaws. It's dumb. But like early on, they like get really into the science of cooking, and like it's like that about cars, and there's anime and manga about all these different sports, and they talk about it and the actual scientific and backed theory. Because I remember it was like Ippo is a boxing one, and they treat Southpaw like it's some mythical thing, and it's just like, no, people who just box left-handed box Southpaw. It's not that uncommon. But then you've got apparently an anime manga where they're like getting into the science of aerodynamic rollerblading. It's just so funny to me.
Oh wow. Okay. So that cooking one, I feel like a friend showed me that quite recently. And do they almost get, I don't know how to phrase this in the most family friendly way, but do they almost get sexually aroused by the way they describe how they're cooking stuff?
Yeah.
Are you asking if someone gets aroused in an anime, Graham?
So the guy who made it, I believe, came up from originally making like hentai, like porn.
Right, okay.
So his draw was like, yeah, I'm going to be making this very cooking focused thing. And they're like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be good. And it's like, yeah, but everybody's like ridiculously attractive. And when they really like the food, they like get naked and explode into, orgasmic bliss.
My friend showed me a clip of it. It was the most ridiculous. Like these bad guys came to like take on this guy. And I think they had guns and stuff. Yeah. And he's like talking about cooking. And he's like making some food. And they're like,
yeah.
Oh my God! Ah! Yeah. Like the snake's like, ah! It's just like, what is? I'm just watching, dude. What the fuck are you watching? But it wasn't. Exactly. They didn't show any nudity as such. It was just very, very implied. But wow, I was just like, this is. I'm done. I feel like I'm not part of this world anymore. You don't understand.
Yeah, it's out there. It's strange.
Incredible. Wow. Caesar just says people in anime get aroused almost as often as people watching them. Well, fair comment, I guess.
Don't need to touch that one.
Yep.
No.
That's what she said. And okay, with that, I guess we're coming to the end of our show. So we went off topic there a bit, but hopefully, not too bad. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us in the chats. You've been awesome. We've been Megavisions and Nick Flair. So thanks everyone, and be excellent to each other.
Yeah, hang around and go hang out with Game Tracks. He's good people. Thank you though, guys. So don't hit anything, Graham. Don't stop streaming yet. All right, we're raiding Game Tracks. Peace.
Ho ho ho. Later. Fuck you, Nick.